Resident Evil is a final chapter. It looks like you are ending when everything else is starting, with franchise, with movie, with sagas, with everything.
You know, we wanted to bring the franchise to an explosive climax, and we wanted to do it on our terms. You know, we didn't want to be told to finish. You know, we wanted to do it in a spectacular way, and I think a lot of franchises overstay their welcome. Franchises can sometimes come to a lackluster conclusion because of that. This movie, I had certain secrets that I've been holding for 15 years. The truth about Alice, the truth about the Red Queen, the real agenda of the Umbrella Corporation. And I wanted to tell that story in a spectacular way.
How could you be original in this action genre?
You know, for me, I'm very fortunate in that I work with actors who are willing to put themselves in the center of the action. You know, the fact that, you know, Mila is willing to do so much herself, so many of the stunts, do the fight scenes on top of the troop transporter, really be on top of that moving vehicle, doing more fight moves than she's ever had to memorize. It makes it thrilling, you know, for an audience, because they see that it's really her doing it. So that definitely gives me an edge. And then for me, it's constant kind of change and reinvention, always pushing the boundaries. You know, the last movie had a lot of slow motion in it. This movie has no slow motion in it. The last movie had a very kind of clean sci-fi look. This movie is dirty, gritty, sexy, sweaty. So the last movie was mainly a stage. This one is a location picture. So, you know, I try and deliver something completely different for the audience each time.
Your daughter, is the first time that you work with your daughter?
Yes, it was pretty exciting, I have to say. I mean, the role was incredibly challenging because, you know, the Red Queen, she looks like a child, but she has to talk like an adult. And also she has to do it in an English accent. And also she has like 5 times as much dialogue as her mother in the movie. So it was really challenging for her, and she was only 7 years old when she did it, and I'm very proud of what she pulled off. She's clearly inherited her mother's skills.
My last question, tell me something about the film that you haven't told anybody.
Wow. What haven't I told anybody? I tell you what I haven't told anybody.
Okay.
Well, it's slightly more exciting.
Okay.
Is we were shooting in Johannesburg. Most of the movie we shot in and around Cape Town, but we also shot in Pretoria and Johannesburg. And we were shooting in Johannesburg in this location called Ponty City, which is the basis for the Peak, the tower block where you meet William Levy and Ali Larter. And fantastic location, but it's in a kind of edgy part of town. And we parked all the crew vehicles outside this tower block. It's about 50 stories high. And I come out one time at lunch, and one of the crew cars is completely demolished, and there's a dining room table is like on top of the car, and someone had thrown it out of the 30th or 40th story. It wasn't a small table, it was a dining room table. You could have had like a dozen people have dinner around this table.
Wow.
It landed on top of the car, just crushed it completely. And so I said to my producing partner, what are we doing about this? And he said, well, we've got hard hats for the crew, and they had these construction helmets. And I'm like, I don't think that's going to stop a table.
Wow.
So we ended up kind of pulling out of that location because it had just become a bit too edgy and dangerous.
It is too dangerous.
And then the fight scene that William has, where he's defending the Peak, and it's a really great action scene. We had to recreate that whole section kind of a little later in the studio. Slightly more exciting.
It's more exciting.
More exciting than me making espresso in the morning.
Thank you. Thank you very much.